Joel Norwood here for the Ohio AgNet in our nation's capital. And this week, the Ohio Farm Bureau County President's Trip, an annual tradition here in D.C. In this special Ohio AgNet report, we recap key discussions between Ohio Farm Bureau county leaders and lawmakers in Washington, D.C. Ohio Farm Bureau President Bill Patterson, a Geauga County farmer, says uncertainty was the theme of this mid-March trip. At the center of those concerns, the repeatedly delayed Farm Bill.
One of the biggest frustrations I have in my role as the president is this continued lack of action on the Farm Bill. I mean, here we are in Washington, D.C., and the Farm Bill isn't even our leading talking point right now because it's just something that's being kicked down the road. Now, we were just speaking with Chairman G.T. Thompson, and it is very exciting to hear his excitement and his enthusiasm to get something done. And we appreciate the fact that he is working tirelessly and hard to get something done. But the reality is it's not a focus, and it's a shame because, the $32 billion legislation that was passed in December didn't need to happen. The uncertainty that our farmers face every day doesn't need to be happening. We should be able to go out, produce the food that this country needs so much for its food security and national security, and not worry about the issues, the safety nets, the conservation programs, the research that needs done, not have to worry about that, but we're finding ourselves needing to do that.
Another uncertainty, the expiring Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, which sunsets at year's end. Lawmakers shared their perspectives, including several at the Farm Forum, hosted by Ohio Congressman Troy Balderson. Representatives Davidson, Shontel Brown, and David Taylor joined the discussion, along with House Ag Committee Chair Glenn G.T. Thompson, who wants a farm bill passed sooner rather than later.
It'll be done this year. And I say that with confidence because we have the right people in leadership positions to make that happen. And we got a great bill, and things are falling into place nicely with it. We really need to be pushing through this first half of the year. If we do that, it's going to send positive messages to the market, to lenders. We're going to, create some economic opportunities for our farmers and our ranchers. If we don't do that, I'm going to have to be back with leadership. Trying to get this past year was $10 billion of economic assistance because of the economic challenges that they had. And so that's the timing, first half of the year, and sooner. The sooner, the better.
Thompson says the need is considerable.
The state of the farm economy is not good. A $46 billion trade deficit in agriculture, we've never had that before. We have low commodity prices and high input costs. We have a difficulty getting some of the inputs that we even need to increase productivity in terms of potash and nitrogen, all the things that you need for fertilizer. And so I want them to know that we hear them. We're listening. We appreciate that they're at the table. And we've got a great farm bill, which is not the only thing we need to do, but a great farm bill that would go a long ways of making agriculture great again.
Newly elected Representative David Taylor, a fresh face on the House Ag Committee, echoed hopes for a farm bill that builds on the 2024 version.
When I've talked to Farm Bureau representatives and farmers in the district and other places, they all sort of shared that sentiment that they were pretty satisfied with how the marked up bill looked. It did the things they wanted it to do. In large part, nothing's ever perfect, but it was something that gave them some certainty, something they can work going forward with, and that the uncertainty is what puts the family farms at risk more than anything else. If they have certain and workable regulations, then we're going to see continuity in that area.
Ohio has two new senators in D.C., Bernie Moreno and Jon Husted. They spoke on key topics, including support for Trump's tariffs, national financial security, and much more. Senator Husted addressed the media afterward.
Right now, we're working through a long process with China that's been going on for years, and it's time that it comes to a head and it gets resolved because they have been stealing our intellectual property. They have been pirating technologies. They've been subsidizing businesses in ways that make it very anti-competitive for American business. And we need to reshore our manufacturing away from China and to America. And this is being worked out through tariffs right now. I think it's going to be a penalty on the Chinese people if that's what China chooses to do, because America is the ag capital of the world. We make the food that they need to thrive, and I think that I'm hopeful that they'll back away from those tariffs because it's bad for their people and it'll be bad for American farmers.
Farm Bureau members did note the senators' focus on the bird flu crisis, hitting Western Ohio especially hard.
I think there was, under the previous administration, their approach to it was overly aggressive, meaning that they were They were wiping out millions of healthy birds that did not need to be removed from farms and from the production of eggs in this country. And working with the new administration, we were able to, I think, put in place a rational approach to containing the flu, but also not eliminating millions of birds unnecessarily. And that will impact lowering the price of eggs, be good for farmers, and help us work through this. But there's still a lot to be done here, a lot of thinking about what we want to do with vaccinations, with chickens and things like that. So we got a lot more thinking and a lot more work to do on the topic.
The trip wrapped up with insights from American Farm Bureau President Zippy Duvall. He sees trade challenges as short-term pain for long-term gain, but urging swift action to protect farmers.
Well, he tells us that's a tool to get people get other countries to the bargaining table, and we've seen that. It's happened. It brings people to the table. Our people are really nervous because we know that we always are the blunt of the pushback from other countries. Agriculture is always the first one they go after, and our job is to tell the administration, hey, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. And I hear a lot of our farmers, and including the administration, say, give us some time. Short-term pain is going to give you long-term gain. Well, what is that timeline? If it stretches out 18 months or 2 years, we will have a disaster in farmland. But if we can get it done, get them to the table, find solutions, and move forward, I think our farmers are ready to take that on and wait on the long-term gain. But it can't take forever. They're going to have to find the solutions and provide a fair level playing field for our farmers to play on.
Other key topics included the role of DOGE, concerns and hope for the Make America Healthy Again movement, as well as potential cuts to solar subsidies under the new administration. One thing's for certain, no shortage of topics at the 2025 Ohio Farm Bureau County President's trip to D.C. Reporting from our nation's capital, I'm Joel Norwood for the Ohio AgNet.